Soundstripe.
We're rolling. This is it. Thanks for coming up, buddy. It's
Yeah, no problem.
good to have a good friend on the fucking
Cheers.
pod, and cheers.
NAs.
NAs for dry January. We'll have a little Corona Zero review for.
And these ones actually
like-
say 0.0, where some are
No, yeah, these are.
aren't they 0.05?
Yeah. The Heinekens are 0.00, but like I just seen the Bush has one. It was at Metro, and they're 0.04 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
you could potentially.
you drink fucking 70 of them, I guess you get a buzz, but you'd probably be
it's
hurt
more
in the morning.
It's more in your head.
Yeah, exactly. But get off the piss for January.
That'd
And
be nice.
unfortunately, Bryce isn't here tonight. He's at a salon getting his toenails painted and sprucing himself up for a hot date this weekend. So just me and Nikki after a great weekend of fire and guns. And I'll introduce you. This is Nick Kudlak, owner of Pine Valley Construction, owner operator, grew from the ground up. Somebody I've had the pleasure of watching grow from a Joe Blow and a 6-ton shovel with a 3/4 ton truck to
1 ton.
one to all the way up to where you are now, doing fucking power line jobs and getting pretty big. So glad to have you. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So I was gonna
Wouldn't necessarily take anything I say and run with it, and take it as with a grain of salt.
Yeah. So you're saying you're not an expert, but you're doing
Not
your
an
best,
expert,
eh?
yeah.
You're not a magician, but it is what it is. We do our best.
Just
That's all
winging- just
I think
winging.
that's all everybody in the trade
Yeah.
does is just they just do their best.
And it's crazy to find out, like, even these bigger guys, you find out, like, oh, they're just normal people. Like,
Yeah.
like these established companies, when you get to meet them, it's like, oh, they're just a normal guy.
Yeah.
Like, nobody has their shit together.
No.
These guys are, they're a lot more buttoned up than most to get there, and it takes years, but, there's some loose ends everywhere.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's
And it's nice to see that sometimes. It's like, oh, you're just a human. So
yeah, especially like when you're meeting with somebody for the first time that you're like super excited to meet with, and you think it's gonna, go well, but you're like shitting your pants. You're like, fuck, like this guy's a big deal, and
and
I don't know how I'm gonna approach this. And then he's just like, chill.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no. So I'd say let's start with, how did things start for you? Where did you start when you came out of high school? Because many people probably don't know, but not only do you own your construction company, but you are a licensed heavy equipment mechanic. That's something that that's like glossed over whenever you introduce yourself to anybody. It's like,
I don't brag about that because
it's pretty sick though. Like you got your heavy equipment license.
yeah, it was awesome. And honestly, having equipment, I don't know how you would without at least having a decent understanding of how it works. And like, I'm not the best mechanic in the world. I'll be the first one to say it, but I know my way around equipment for the most part. And if it's anything really in-depth electrical, well, you're bringing that in anyway.
Yeah.
Or emissions or something
Yeah.
hydraulics that's really serious. Well, for the most part, that's going to a shop. But, the meat and potatoes, I'd say we have figured out. So it's super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's especially when you've got, you have quite a few pieces of equipment, and let's be real, operators aren't easy on equipment. I mean, I know you're not easy on equipment, so how can you expect your guys to, baby it like it's their own? So there's definitely shit breaking all.
Oh yeah. And shop rates are, close to $200 an hour. Well, especially for a service guy that comes out. So if you can fix the stupid stuff yourself, well, you got her made, because, you're calling out a mechanic's at least going to be 4 hours.
Yeah.
To, change a hose or diagnose a bad plug.
Yeah.
That's got some corrosion. Like, you got to be able to get around the stupid stuff at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Which that's
otherwise you'd be down every day.
Yeah.
Damn near. So
yeah. What's the craziest breakdown you've had yet in this role with this company?
That's a tough. I don't, knock on drywall here. It hasn't been anything too crazy. We lost tracks um, blown some pretty big hoses. It drains the hydraulic tank.
It's
But
always
thankfully,
fun.
no pumps or anything. And, on a piece of equipment, well, I guess the transmission on my small dump truck
Oh
is
yeah.
well on its way. But, wear and tear. But no, with excavators, like your pumps and cylinder. Oh, we've put a cylinder into a rock. That might have been Kurt, just saying. But,
Fuck.
for the most part, we've been lucky. But once a pump goes, you could be into 30,000 right
Really?
there. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Like the pump is the heart of the machine. So on
Wow.
those big machines, like your pump is everything. Well, on any piece of equipment.
Yeah.
But yeah. So no, we've been lucky. And I do try to stay up on maintenance, and I think that helps.
That's good. That's probably like first time in your life you've ever actually tried to maintain something.
Things. Yeah. Well, when you actually own things and you're not a kid anymore, it's time to get your things together and have some pride in your stuff and
Yeah.
try to keep the paint up. And like my dad always said, it's like your vehicle, you keep the inside of it clean and you'll be worried about the rest of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When your
No,
inside looks like shit.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Not saying we always follow that, but I know this year I really want to push keeping things looking presentable.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And no, and you've done a sick job. Like, I mean, I don't know who you've got editing your videos, but like all your videos online are sweet. And you've done a sick job of painting your excavators and, putting the Pine Valley sticker on them, making them look, when you see one of your videos right away, when I see the color of the excavator, I know that's the Pine Valley equipment.
Yeah, well, that's what we want to go for. Unfortunately, one scrape to the counterweight when you're too close to a pile of dirt, and
It's
ready
brushing it off. Yeah.
But it's equipment in the end of the day. But I want to be the guy known for having nice stuff, even if it's not brand new. But you can tell when somebody takes care of something. Like, but even
Yeah.
these new school guys like me, we like tinted windows and flocked out stuff. So these old guys don't really like that, but
Yeah.
yeah. I
Is your
personally
dad
think it's
bust your
so-
balls
oh,
for it a lot?
Oh yeah. He was telling me you can't see out of it, but you can, honestly. Like it doesn't make unless you're working at night. But those old guys are
Yeah.
they don't like
Oh,
any
that's funny, man. That's
But-
funny.
yeah, we got like, and that's what attracts, some people that want to come, young kids or young guys that want to come work for you. They like tinted windows and blacked out,
Yeah.
excavators or, a work truck with some rims on it. Personally, when I was 20, that would have made my decision to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Not saying it's the end all be all, but it helps when you like driving around
Yeah.
in something.
Yeah. 100%. What's the pool of guys like that you have or girls? I don't know if you've had any apply yet, but that you're having coming in and applying for jobs like recently? Are you seeing, enough people coming in, or is it kind of like you're scrounging for guys, at the beginning of summer? And
Well, like we're not big at the point yet where I need a demand of 10, 20 guys. We only have like 5 to 6 people. It fluctuates, but honestly, like with the social media, I have people reaching out every time I post a video or, there's pretty respected people in the industry that I had reach out and say, hey, if you're ever looking for an operator, like just keep me in mind. And I was thinking like, I'm honored that they're even asking me that because I know they're respected in the industry.
yeah,
So I think that really helps the social media side. And,
Yeah.
They like seeing, you're in nice shirts and nice hats and you have some nice swag and
Yeah.
that goes a long way.
take care of the guys.
Taking care of the guys and, just a young crew in general, I think that attracts people. But I would say I hear a lot in the industry. There's guys talking about, oh, they can't find anyone and
Yeah.
this and that. But, I haven't ran into that yet because I think social media and like just the small amount we do on social media, which it is going to ramp up here coming up soon. The small amount we do helps big time.
Wow. That's cool. That's good to
Pretty
hear. 'Cause-
respected guys that we grew up with that I know went and worked in the mines for a while and have
Yeah.
experience are reaching out to me. And I even told them, I'm like, to be honest, I'm not ready to to take you on and guarantee you a good job for 9 months of the year.
Yeah.
But when I am, I'll definitely reach out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the hard part about property development is your work window it's really short. Like it's not like a lot of the trades where, you've got 12 months of the year to work and you get all your outdoor work done in the summer, but then you try and set your jobs up so that you've got, you know, 4 to 5 months of indoor work where
Yeah.
you don't really have that option.
No. You got, well, what did we started getting snow in November?
Yeah.
Which in the normal excavation world, like you can work, 6 inches of snow or whatever, but once it starts piling up, you're going backwards.
Yeah.
Like you may as well just shut her down. And for the most part, residential and like light commercial construction isn't going to be paying for you to clear the snow and then start
Every
digging. The
morning,
money's
yeah.
just kind of not there, it seems like. But that's what's good where we're in the power line stuff, right? And
Yeah.
it seems like these bigger companies, they want to push through like with and that's sometimes the only times you can get into these places. Like we're freezing the road into the right of way. Sometimes
Yeah.
you can't get in there in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can, I want to touch on that later because
Yeah, I know.
I
we're getting
remember
ahead of
going through that contract with you with the spring breakup and all the jazz and things, being worried about the turtle hatching.
Yeah,
We didn't
even know what we were looking at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's, that was not something we ever expected, but,
Yeah.
no, like let's go. I want to go way back. So when you were coming out of high school, did you have any idea what you wanted to do?
No.
No.
Well, actually, I did. I kind of wanted to be a millwright or a mechanic.
Okay.
Like, my brother-in-laws were millwrights or,
Yeah.
in the trades. And I wanted to work. I thought working at Algoma Steel, which it is a great job, but back then I was
Yeah.
like, well, you could buy all the toys in the world. Go,
Yeah.
these guys, that were 10 years older had new sleds and listed trucks, and
Yeah.
I wanted to go
They
work
were
at Algoma. Yeah,
Which, I mean, devastating news.
it is.
Coming out of Algoma. I mean,
A lot of our buddies, like,
yeah. It's tough. I mean, we knew it was going to happen no matter what, what spin the local news channels are putting on it. Everybody knew that many jobs were getting cut
yeah.
as soon as the arc furnace turned on, but we just didn't expect it to come this soon. So, it's like, man, I feel terrible for everybody there that's, gotten a letter saying you're going to be laid off on March 20th. That's not a letter you want to go home with after work and
No.
have to go to your wife and kids and say, hey, like,
Yeah, single guy, whatever, but once there's kids and a wife.
that's the thing. Like, where do you go right in town? Tenaris is hiring, which is great. I mean, they don't pay nearly what Algoma pays, but it's a good livable wage at Tenaris, or you go up north and work at a mine,
And thankfully they're booming now.
yeah, and great work at the mines. I love my time there. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you
And
loved
that's what
yours
built,
as well.
if it wasn't for that place, I wouldn't have any.
Yeah.
That's
So
what started it for.
they can, like, there are options for them, but when you had Nixon, like,
Yeah.
that one on, one off when
Well,
Nixon was a baby, that's
yeah,
not an easy.
no. As
not
far
an
as
easy
out of
schedule.
town work is one of the better schedules.
Mhm.
Like some guys are working like 3 in and 1 out, and like that's insane.
Yeah.
But you can't sustain that, in my opinion.
You can't do that and have, well, I mean, you could try, but it's difficult to do that and have a good marriage and
It is.
raise your kids the way you want
The
to raise them.
statistics aren't very
No,
good.
they're not. Like, you see guys that are going up like Baffin Island and shit, doing that kind of run, and they're on their second ex-wife, a bunch of kids that they only see every other 3 weeks, like,
And they're partying in the airport.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes they bring it on themselves, but
yeah. So when you came out of high school, so you want to be a millwright.
trying to think what I did. Oh, I went to APR actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Went to APR, got my all positions sticked.
Really? I didn't know
Turns
that.
out my eyes. That's when I really found out my eyes were bad.
Really?
Because yeah,
It wasn't when you
fog.
couldn't see driving down the road?
I just thought that was normal. I was like, why do they make signs so small? But no, like when I
Who the fuck's running the city department?
Yeah.
They gotta talk to somebody about the font on these signs.
honestly, you would think I would have thought about it, but I just, when I've dealt with it, I would, even in high school, I would just copy people's notes and,
And their test answers and everything.
well, subcontract.
Subcontracting. Fuck, that's hilarious.
Went to APR, got that. Basically, like, I'm super glad I did that because I can still hold my own in welding.
Yeah.
I got a wicked welding helmet and then got a the shield that actually had my prescription.
Oh
in
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
which was
Fuck,
awesome.
what'd that
Turns
cost?
out, yeah, it was like $900 for the helmet.
Yikes.
Or no, it didn't have my prescription, but it had like a magnifying glass, so anyone,
okay.
it would have worked for anyone.
Yep.
But the helmet was big money regardless.
Yeah.
Did that, realized basically the teacher's like, you're not, because when I'm extended at my arm and I'm trying to weld overhead or something, it's too far. But if I'm, in your generic position,
Yeah.
I'm able to weld pretty good.
Nice.
But basically realized it's not for me.
Yeah.
So and I'm happy because I still weld on our stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But if it gets intricate, I sub that out. Did that and then pretty much finished there. I think I worked a couple of little BS jobs like the contracting in Algoma.
Yeah.
Just doing labor, bag houses, changing bags and benches.
Nice.
Pretty much the dirtiest job ever for, minimum wage.
Yeah.
But when you're working 16-hour shifts, it was wicked
Yeah.
money.
$12 an hour adds up. When
Yeah.
you put 16
Get a
hours. at a time.
$900 check.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah. When you're 19, $900 straight to the bar.
Yeah, exactly. Then pretty much went so you wanted to touch on,
Yeah.
First
You
Nations.
getting into Alamos.
Yeah, so
Yeah. When we were talking.
so I'm a status Indian, First Nations, whatever you want to call it,
What band?
Mishpachottan.
Okay.
So they're
Nice.
from
Wawa
Wawa.
area.
Yeah.
Nice.
So my grandma's from there.
Okay.
She's full. My grandpa was just a white boy.
Nice.
So that makes, and then the same situation for my mom and dad. My mom's half,
Yeah.
my dad's white. So I'm a quarter. I just snuck in, got my status card. Honestly, I only got it like when I was like 18. So just before I got into the mine.
Okay.
So then I reached out to the band and they said, yeah, put us on your resume and we'll put a good word in, basically.
Yeah.
And then I put them down and they were asking for references. I didn't have a whole lot. I think I put my dad down as a reference, which
Nice.
like,
That's a straight out of high school move.
yeah.
There's
And-
only one idiot that knows my work ethic, and it's my old man.
Yeah. And do they not call my dad anyway, HR of
Yeah.
Alamos.
Yeah.
He calls my house. I'm still living at home. I answered. He's like, is this Nick? Because he called me for the over the phone job
Yeah.
interview. And I was like, yeah. He's like, is Paul there? I was like, yeah, one sec. So he gets my dad on the phone. Like, it was the most awkward thing ever. No, I'm definitely not getting this job. Who puts their dad down as a
Yeah.
reference? Anyway, they ended up calling, and it turns out I did ask, and he's like, yeah, Mishpachottan did help you get in here. Like,
Nice.
because, they liked your spiel, and they knew I wanted to get into the trades and get a ticket. Yeah, they helped me out big time. So if anyone can chase that, if your status, I don't know about Métis, but I know in your
Yeah.
status, like your band will most likely help you out finding the career that you want. Like,
Nice. That's
It's
good. And that's
huge.
like, I don't know.
you got to hold up your end of the deal too, though, and actually work, because that's what they
100%.
said. Like, don't just think that this is a free ticket
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't know. Like, I mean, we've got our fair share of Indigenous friends, but like, most of the ones that we know are already in the trade. So I don't know if that's something that's well broadcasted amongst
I don't
the
think it
band,
is.
where, hey, if you're looking to get into something, we do have different resources for you to use to get in, get your foot in the door. If there's something you really want to do, then you can prove yourself and prove how well you can do
Yeah.
this kind of thing. So that's,
It'd be nice if they would, put some more funding towards that.
Mhm.
And maybe they will now with their, the they got some money, so maybe it'll get allocated to the trades and the young generation. Because
Yeah, and that'd be like, I think that'd be awesome for them to
well, look,
do.
there's 40% of the workforce is retiring. There's something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate that number is,
I'm
but
not
it's
a
something
stats guy,
crazy.
but
It's like it's some the number you hear is like, no, there's no way. But yeah, like so those guys are gone and there's nobody to really replace them.
no event like that's kind of, it's a scary boat we're getting into, and like
We're slowly
I've
getting-
talked to guys that are, you know, younger, like 55, you know, mid 50s, and that are owners of different companies, and they're like, oh yeah, like I want to retire like in the next year or two.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's young. Like I remember when I was fucking on the tools, my boss was like 70.
Yeah.
And like that guy had no dreams of retiring. He's still running the company that I used to work at. And he's like, you know, he's in there every morning. But I think the newer generation of business owners is trying to retire earlier because, hey, they made their money. They don't need to be, you know, extremely wealthy. They just want to be able to live a good life and enjoy, you know, the latter part of their life. So it is a bit scary that much of the workforce is going to be retiring in like what, the next 10, 15 years?
Yeah. So like something's got to be done. And I am starting to see more, you know, podcasts and channels talking about this to get the younger generation interested in it. Like,
yeah. And that's,
go, or, you know, host a community event. Here's a bulldozer, go push some dirt. You'll realize you actually do like, you know, running equipment.
yeah, that like running equipment, it's not something I ever did growing up a lot. My uncle's an operator. My dad operated a little bit when he was at the city. Like there's operators in my family, but I just never really jumped into equipment. When I was on the tools, most thing I jumped into was they're like the Manitous at Alamos and like Zoom booms and stuff. But then when we bought our excavator, I started running it, and now I love it. Like that's something, I'll go to camp for a weekend and just spend the whole weekend in the excavator dicking around.
Get a podcast in. And
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's,
but also it was looked at, and it still is like, oh, you're just a construction, like you equipment operators, you know, down here.
Yeah.
But you know, good operator, that whole site, you know, it doesn't run without a good operator.
Yeah. And especially when you see guys like, you know, like the real fine operators that can run a grade with a shovel, and it's just like
the trans is
absolutely perfect.
Beep, you know,
and you're like, shit, like
yeah,
that is not easy to do.
And that doesn't just happen overnight.
No.
Like that's a 10, 20 year, like it is an art. And, you know, a lot of people just think you can get in something and go. Sure, there is like, you know, a skid steer is pretty easy. And you can get good on them, but, you know, within 4 hours, me and you or somebody that hasn't ran it could be decent.
Yeah.
You know, but go try and pull grade on you're digging a basement.
Yeah.
With an excavator sitting up top, like that's a little different.
Yeah.
You're not going to
100%.
You know, from up top, it looks good. And then you get down in the hole and it's like that.
I know when I put my septic tank in this summer, I was using the 20-ton backhoe my uncle has there. And I dug the hole and I was like, oh, it looks pretty good from up here. And then I got down in the hole and I'm looking at it, I'm like, holy shit.
Get the hand shovel
out. That's exactly. I got the hand shovel. I started digging. Then my uncle comes over and he's like, what the hell are you doing? I was like, I can't pull grade. And he goes, give me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Gets in the shovel, digs her out. Okay, you're good to go. Like fucking.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
And well, now like there's grade control and on these new gear, like mind you, that's expensive.
Yeah. But
that
for the bigger companies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you've got guys running in and out, you know, every summer, hey, now you've got something that's idiot proof.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. So like site work's all changing. I'm like, we're not quite at that point yet. Like I am going to fit up the 15-ton with.
So, okay. So you were saying before, sorry, we had a little audio mishap here. So you were saying Dan was fitting your shovels with some type of new grading equipment.
Oh yeah, I dig. Okay. It's like basically, well, it's still like 12.5 grand, but it's
Oh.
basically a transit built into the. So
Oh,
one
really?
guy I can go, set him up, KR basements at this grade. We'll beep it off where we want it, and then now he's literally in the cab, got a transit essentially
Really?
right in the cab. Yeah.
That's cool.
So you're basically eliminating that labor on the
Mhm.
ground, which that's a big expense. And that guy now doesn't lose a job. He goes somewhere else. Like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
still
exactly. That's you. You're not firing anybody, but you're
Yeah.
saying, hey,
But
buddy
yeah,
that was running the transit on the
he
ground,
gets a
you can
chance to
now
do
go
less.
in the 6th time.
Exactly.
You know?
Move some stuff around or go to a different job and start setting it up. Like
Yeah.
that's the best part about, implementing technology eventually. Like that's the problem with excavation around here. Like there's a lot of older guys in it and older companies who are really set in their ways. And, I want to, come in and implement some technology and, have GPS eventually
Yeah.
and, yeah, just get with the times,
Yeah.
and,
Do things a little bit smarter.
hopefully, I mean, and that'll attract, some younger guys too, make it
Yeah.
easier for everybody. And hopefully that's the plan eventually. Like it's not going to happen this year or next, but I do want to get to the point where
Yeah.
we're kind of known for having technology
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's
because anyone can dig a hole without it too.
yeah.
You can, you're just digging a hole, but you want to make it easy for the guys and efficient, right? Because sometimes you can take, say, 2 inches. If you're 2 inches too low on something, now you got to put that material back in and pack it, or that's you're another day, even if it's
Yeah.
just on a basement.
Yeah. That's true.
So that 2 inches is a big deal.
Yeah, that's what my old lady says too.
Yeah, exactly. It's big.
Yeah, I know it'll cost you a lot of
And
time.
like some guys, like all over a whole site, if that happens, say you're doing a 4-acre site,
Yeah.
for a big warehouse, well, you're huge.
Yeah.
So those guys that are doing stuff like that, GPS, because one fuck up, it'll pay for your whole top consist.
Yeah.
For the most part. So that's the
That's
plan
cool.
eventually. But for now, we'll use iDig, basically just a transit.
So where'd you hear about iDig? Like what? I've never heard about
Well,
iDig
I'm
before,
saying
but I don't know.
iDig. That's
Kinda
a
like deep
brand.
in the excavator
Yeah,
world,
that's
so
a brand. So maybe like it'll be something like that.
Okay.
It's just basically your generic where I don't even know where I heard about it, but honestly, I'm kind of sick in the head for anything with digging holes.
Yeah.
So it's just been in my feed for years, in my face, because I probably talk about transit.
Oh yeah, just wait till we get off this podcast.
I
All of a
know.
sudden my Facebook's gonna be flooded with
I
fucking
did. Yeah,
transits.
exactly.
All of a
So
sudden I'm gonna know everything to know about it because Facebook and Instagram.
yeah.
just
Oh yeah.
ads.
You'll be an expert.
We know you're listening.
Yeah. But a transit works fine. Like there's no reason you can't get away,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a guy on the rod, if he's good and the operator's good, you can do a bang up job, and we have been. We've been getting compliments on how good our basements are, and a lot of that has to do with the operator. But the
Yeah.
guy on the rod too, like you can fuck up even on a transit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
So when you were at Alamos, you know, you got your ticket, you were there. How long were you at Alamos for?
5 years.
5 years. Oof. Yeah.
So right away they threw me underground,
Yeah.
which that's where I wanted.
Which is sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew.
No,
I
you
think-
don't want to be on surface. That's
No.
fine. That's fucking dog shit, especially when it's minus 45 in Duberville.
Yeah. Underground's always the same temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Summer or winter, it's a little
Yeah.
more humid in the summer. At least where we were, only at 315. You
Yeah,
go down
that's
deep,
true.
it's hot.
Yeah.
But thankfully, where we were, it was, you were under.
We spent a lot of time in the mechanic shop
Oh yes,
doing nothing on night shift watching hockey game.
pretty much. Yeah, putting Wi-Fi in that shop. Sorry, Kevin.
Now they got LTE through the entire mine, so the boys are on their phone all the time.
That's not.
Yeah, no. But yeah, so when did you fully like decide? Because you kind of went back and forth. You were still at the mine when you bought your 6-ton, right?
Yeah.
And you were doing side jobs while you're home for your 7
Yeah.
years. Just kind of
Dick around.
dipping your feet in a little bit, just seeing if it was for you. And then what made you say, you know what, I'm diving in feet first, and I wanna make this work.
On being completely blind and not knowing a thing, because if I actually put thought into it and then knew the industry, I probably wouldn't have did it. So it's probably good that I had no clue and, started right from the bottom. And but I would say, like, looking back on it, you should work in the industry a bit before you go do something
Yeah.
like that, because the first couple of years sucked. I was digging stumps out, and we had a couple pretty big screw ups too, like hitting
Yeah.
fiber op down here, right?
I
So
forgot about that.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was one of my first jobs. I dug up some colorful roots.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the alarm started going off.
Yeah. So, and we did hit a banana tree root as well when that's a gas line.
Yeah.
So just things like that. But
When that happens, like, what goes through your mind? Because, like, that shit's gonna happen. Nobody's ever gonna be perfect 100% of the time, but, like,
now it wouldn't be as bad, I think. But then I was like sick in my stomach, like so mad at
just
myself. I didn't
freaking
even
out.
know what was gonna happen. I ended up with a $4,800 bill from the
Yikes.
first one,
Yikes.
on an $800 job. Like,
Take a ding right off the top.
and it was so embarrassing, but right in front of the customer too. And not to mention, I dug his ditch the wrong way. So not
No.
only did I hit, so I was supposed to drain water from the house out to the ditch. Well, the way the slope was, I actually was draining the water from the road to the house. And basically, while he was telling me to, like, "Hey, wrap her up here, bud," then I hit the fiber up. So
So you're like, hey, buddy, sorry, I'm gonna be here for another 2 days.
yeah, well then, yeah, they had to call in a crew on overtime. Acon,
Yeah.
did it. They spliced it up, and I
Got
could
it
have
for
went through insurance or something, but for the small, it's education.
Yeah.
As I guess an
Yeah.
expensive course.
Expensive learning experience. Holy shit.
Locates are key in learning how to look at them.
Yeah.
Because I did have locates too. I thought, I was all, yeah, I'm legit. I have locates.
Really?
It turns out when there's a measurement on a locate sheet, that isn't depth. That's how far you could, like, to stay away from the
Oh,
line
okay, yeah.
sideways. So that 1 meter it was telling me wasn't, I'm clear to dig to a meter. It was stay a meter away. Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah, that's an
yeah,
expensive lesson. But
yeah,
hey, I mean, here you are now.
yeah. And I think you just have to be an idiot and dive in sometimes.
Yeah.
But, there's other people approach it with, they're really, with a sharp pencil, and they're um, cautious on things. And I think that's probably a smart approach too, because it could have been worse.
Absolutely.
Some people get into pickles that, bankrupt them right away. And
Yeah.
thankfully, I wasn't even on jobs big enough that could do that. It was
Yeah.
just Grandma Herfenberger's backyard.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
it was nothing crazy. And
yeah.
but I don't even know why I thought it was cool to have a fuel tank in the box of a diesel truck, and you could sit at the local restaurant with it idling. That's the only reason I wanted to be a contractor at first.
Really?
Pretty much. I mean, we don't have my dad was a logger,
Yeah.
so been around it and stuff, but
Yeah.
don't have a history of excavation
Yeah.
per se. But yeah, thankfully, I love it, because if you didn't, it just wouldn't work out,
Yeah.
because it's not get rich overnight by any means.
Yeah.
But obviously the plan is, things are, I've been at it, I'd say four real years now,
Yeah.
and I'm just starting to, make a good livable wage for myself and the family, but it was a grind, and it
Yeah.
still is a grind. And it's,
Oh yeah.
But-
I mean, that grind's never gonna stop.
No,
right?
but I love it.
I think you scaled really well. Like you bought your 6-ton and you started doing small jobs.
Yeah.
And then, when was that point where you were like, I like what I'm doing, but I want to scale up to the next level? And I would say that was probably like a step before where you are now. but
Yeah.
because you have, I would say the first power line contract you got was probably, that was the first scale up,
Yeah.
right?
No, you're right.
And
That's a
when
good
did
way to put it.
like, so when did it cross your mind like, hey, this is kind of like, I'm at a point now, I want to dive into something that I haven't done yet and see if we can get a bit bigger?
Just seeing, it seems like around COVID, and I'm one of the idiots as well, oh, it looks like everyone's making money digging holes and, doing yard work and landscaping. Let's get into this.
Yeah.
So I was one of those guys too, jumped in, screwed the market up probably because you're working for, I think it was like $90 an hour or something. My first was just like ridiculous, going backwards, like embarrassing to even say, but had no clue.
Yeah.
Didn't talk to anyone. So I was one of those guys too. So I can't knock the people for anyone for doing that or trying, but after I got a bit of experience and knew where I needed to be to make some money, and I'm going to bid on these jobs, and there's 5 other guys bidding it at half the price. It's like, oh, I gotta do something, like, get out of this market because everyone and their uncle's running around with a dump trailer and a 3-ton.
Yeah.
So I call them dump trailer warriors now. And I was one too. There's nothing wrong with it, but it screws up the market kind of.
Yeah.
But it's fine. We need that.
Yeah. Yeah. And those guys, hey, maybe they're starting like you did.
Exactly.
And they're just going.
Or
maybe they're going to do that for the rest of their life.
The problem is like the whole the reason like guys get in because it's easy. Oh, I want to sit in a machine and just dig stumps. It's easy in theory.
Yeah.
And it is. Yeah. A lot of them realize it's not get rich overnight.
Yeah.
And you got to get out of the cab.
Yeah.
Things just in order to pull that machine there to be legal. A yellow sticker, a CVOR, an AR license.
The right insurance. Like, shit
so
like
it's
that.
not just buy a dump trailer and hook it up to your 3/4 ton, even though that's what we all did.
Yeah.
And
there's
still
still guys doing that.
And that's fine. We need it. But the residential market is just so saturated with that. I was like, it's either I get out of this or get through that bottleneck.
Yeah.
And into bigger residential, which is digging basements and like working for house builders, is still I would call residential. And then some light commercial, like a local business wants a lot cleared beside them to build a parking lot. So I would say, that's what kind of got us to the next step. But also, I was already thinking like that. And then, this talks of this power line work kind of came out. That's where we're going. Eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, because you got into the power line work before you started digging basements for people, right? Like, was that your first?
Oh, the one way back in Duberville.
Yeah. That's I was talking about that one.
Yeah. I guess I did. Yeah. And then that job kind of allowed me to, get into some bigger stuff. Yeah,
you got the experience.
So, well, not only that, like, I had the equipment available and, the funds a little bit to even just, back then I was still just renting too, but was renting some bigger stuff. And I realized, you can rent long-term and, rent some big gear if you had to. Big, I'm talking, it was like a 15-ton. But the power line thing came about, like, honestly, did it just kind of fall in your lap almost? Like, somebody had sent me a link to something that there was something at the Quattro, like a job fair. Yeah. And I was like, you know what, let's go. We'll just go check it out. And I got shooting the shit with one of the guys. I won't say the company, but he turned out to be the owner. Okay. And I was kind of like, telling him we have equipment. And I was talking, like, I didn't even have the equipment. I didn't even have it. You're talking way over your head. Way over my head. But I realized I'm just talking and bullshit's coming out. Not that I'm lying, but I'd seen there was some potential for work here and I knew I'd get my hands on some equipment. So I was like, he doesn't need to know it's not mine. Yeah. Necessarily. Oh, hey, I showed up there with equipment. And you got operators to run it. Yeah. So you can fucking do the job. Turns out this guy emailed me that night. I got his contact info. He's like, hey, can I get your rate sheet? The rate sheet. I don't even know where to start really with this. Because I had the 6-ton. Yeah. And now we're talking, he's a utility contract. Yeah. Like, and I always knew power line work paid well or better at least. Yeah. Right. So I didn't want to just throw him some rates out of my ass. But I kind of did because he wanted them, because I was like, well, I can't let this go.
Yeah.
And I remember
Yeah,
I
you
was,
gotta
I
get
was up
back
at
to
the
'em.
cabin with Kurt and BJ and all them when I got the email. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And I had a few drinks in
Yeah.
me. And that's pretty much what I did. I made a couple of calls, didn't really get any good, solid information. I did from, I don't know if you remember Ethan from Thunder Bay, went to trade
Yeah, yeah,
school. I
yep.
thought he called his uncle who does some like
Nice.
local power line work, and he gave me a rough idea.
So when you say you didn't get good information, were people kind of reluctant to tell you like what?
No, because I didn't even have contacts to call.
Oh,
I
so
was
you
just
didn't-
like,
It wasn't like people were intentionally trying to fuck you.
no, I just didn't have anyone to call. Where now, well, for one, I probably wouldn't be just calling people at, 10 at night there or 11,
Yeah. On
Well,
a
I-
school night while you're deep into the piss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But so I had a pretty good idea of where to start. Turns out that number was real low. It was just for one machine. It ended up being, they were mostly after an excavator.
Yeah.
Sent him that right away. Yep. Can you start next week?
Perfect.
Well, okay, well, now I got to find some equipment.
Gotta organize somebody to get it there.
Yeah.
That's
Sean
the-
McLeod.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
old Sean. Thank
Yeah.
God.
So they actually, the owner knew Sean. And Sean has a background in utilities.
Yeah,
So
people know Sean. I mean, most people.
Oh,
He's A1.
everyone
Everybody
loves
loves
Sean.
him.
Yeah, no, like everybody
Right.
loves Sean. So, and actually, I name dropped Sean, and that kind of helped because
cool.
he's about his age, and
Yeah.
they go way back. And yeah, so I show up there in an excavator that I've never ran before, and to be honest, at the time, I wasn't that great of an operator.
Yeah.
Like, especially under pressure when you're working under a live power line.
Yeah.
That I've never did ever before. Like, yeah, I dug a few stumps and did some landscaping, but half the time I was getting out of the cabin raking. Like, so yeah, those guys showed the excavator had no heat. It was minus 40. I had a 12 volt plugged into the cigarette lighter. Yeah, and it just enough to
Bundled up in your snowsuit.
with gloves trying to operate a machine I've never operated with the window up. And I'm telling you, Duberville's a different type of cold.
Oh, dude. I mean,
But you almost have to be there to really see, to
it
experience it.
sucks. It's a shitty cold.
So honestly, it was so bad that the lineman, one of the guys came up to me and he said, can I just run this? So it basically kicked me out of the machine. Anyone else would have just packed up with their tail between their legs and went home. It was so, I don't know if I've ever even told you that.
I don't think you have.
Because I was embarrassed. They kicked me out of my own machine and ran it.
And still paid you for being there.
Yeah, and still paid me for being, well, they didn't tell the owner. The owner wasn't there.
Okay.
As far as he knows, I'm a hero, But and basically said, look, this is what we want to see. And it also was winter work. I've never worked in the frost in the winter. Anyone that works winter knows the machine's got to be corked up.
Yeah.
You weld tabs on the tracks, and it's cleats basically.
Yeah.
To go on ice. So I was clawing myself up hills with this thing, and then almost gets up, sliding back down. And they basically just said, look, hey, we gotta cork this thing up. And these are the employees, helping out, because they like me. I came across
You're a good dude.
fairly humble. I was trying to be one of the boys, and they like me, but they're like, hey, we gotta get our shit straight here, because the owner and the bosses are gonna be coming around here. So let's get some corks on it. I went home to the suit. Jeremy cut me a bunch of tabs.
Nice.
I can weld. It was thankfully nice and close. Weld the doughs on. Had to preheat because it was, of course, freezing cold.
Yeah.
The first time I did it, didn't preheat. They broke off in the first 1 kilometer.
Perfect.
Had to do it all again. Preheated it. I'm telling you, this is a couple-hour job each track in the cold. It sucked, dude. And then, eventually, they showed me what they wanted to see, and that was a 3-month job. Yeah, looking back, and this is one of my favorite quotes, I guess, Jordan Peterson. If you're not willing to look like a fool,
Yeah.
you're never going to be a master. I'm not saying I'm a master now, but did we ever look like a fool?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're not, if you can't take criticism, it's just, you're not going to make it, because in anything, I think that's just,
Yeah. I think that's
it's a just
general rule of life.
a general rule of thumb. Someone that can't take criticism generally is either just hard to be around, and
Yeah. Yeah. So you got so you got through that job, and
That was a
like,
3-month job. And also, like, I'm not like, so I had this rental. Oh, no, so that was so halfway through the job, I was like, you know what? I'm going to rent myself a nice new machine. Got rid of that, got some funds available. Or I think they paid me like, because I was on them. I thought like, I wasn't used to 30-day terms.
yeah,
I'm used
you
to,
used to
you know,
homeowner that pays you right off the job.
yeah. So I like
Yeah.
look like an idiot, Matt, like texting, calling the owner, hey,
Yeah.
like, can I get paid for these hours? And they're like, yeah, like normally it's 30-day terms.
Yeah.
So right there, you kind of look like something's up.
Yeah.
You
Like
really
they knew you weren't used to what was going
commercial,
on. Yeah.
which is fine though. Thankfully, like he's a beauty and really good contact for me now, and you know
Nice.
we stay in touch. And I've told him like he's pretty much the reason I got up and running.
That's
'Cause
sick.
yeah, so did that, rented myself a new Sani, and then I was laughing, had heat, and then, you know, I felt like one of the boys.
Yeah.
They hooked me up, and we'd go out to the bar and stay out way too late. That was only by the end of the job, but and then, you know, like, you kind of feel like you accomplished something. So
Yeah.
got that done and got paid, and then realized, I think this is kind of something that I'd like to do. You know, then started getting into the bigger residential because the power line is not, like, steady, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Especially like, so, I mean, before we talk about when you got into the big residential, we'll talk about the second power line job you did, which it probably wasn't the same in Duberville, but the contract on the second power line job with the spring thaw and everything,
oh, the turtles,
turtles, like,
yeah.
yeah, like what kind of stuff did you encounter in that one where you're like, what the fuck is this?
Looking at the contract,
Yeah.
sick in my stomach.
Yeah.
Like I remember looking at it with you and just we were joking around over a couple beers, but genuinely like being like, oh God, I was actually like sick in my stomach because I didn't know how to. I couldn't, you know, like even threw it into Chat GPT, probably would have.
Yeah.
We didn't even have
Yeah.
that.
ChatGPT wasn't.
Well, it would have been like version 1.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Still would have helped. But I was just to the point where I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna do my best and wing it
Yeah.
and sign the contract without going, you know, yes, I know it's not the smartest thing to do, but like I read the meat and potatoes, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of word salad in there
There was.
that, and I feel like that's what most of those contracts are, and it always covers their ass.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And basically it said we can get rid of you at any time,
Yeah.
and yeah, we can hold back money, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it was another really good learning experience. And so on the power line, all we were doing there was digging anchors for the poles and putting new poles in. And that was actually the same thing we did in Duberville. So having that on the resume, it really helped. Like
Shows that you have
pole
experience,
because
right?
you're always around those,
Yeah.
you know, their RBDs
Yeah.
that are holding the poles, and you know your line's right there. So if you're saying that you have experience in pole setting, like you better kind of hope you do.
Yeah.
Just because also like the guys on the ground, like you kind of got to know what their next step is
Yeah.
too, you know? So, especially in the winter, you'll dig the hole and there's frost, so it's holding the ground, but you want to put that pole in quick and you get that thing backfilled
As fast as possible.
Yeah,
nothing
before-
shifts, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, evenly around. And
Yeah.
um
So when you're doing a job like that, where like, I mean, power lines, maybe some people who listen to this haven't been on a power line stretch in the bush before, but like the terrain is a fucking gong show.
Oh,
Like,
it's brutal.
it's the shittiest terrain you can work on, especially up there. You're on the Canadian Shield. Like it's kind of garbage. So is it better? You did one with a rental and one with your own equipment. What's that? You know, is there a happy medium of, hey, do I want to own this piece of equipment that I'm going to go and do this job with? Or is it better to do it with a rental where, you know, you might mitigate some of the risks on yourself? I mean, I would guess more in the long term, because at the end of the day, if something breaks down while you're in the field, you're fixing it
no matter
either
what.
way, because you got to get back up and running. But when the job's over, you can then hand that back and say, here's your excavator back, and you don't have to worry about that.
I don't know if it's
Wear and tear.
necessarily. It's if you're hitting rock it's getting drilled anyway. So I don't necessarily think like, yeah, I guess the conditions aren't real ideal for a machine, but I personally would like to own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think like it doesn't have to be brand new, but a couple years old seems to be like where the direction I want to go. Like something with 2,000 hours on it.
Yeah.
It's still got life left, but it's about half the price of new. And
Yeah.
that's everything I bought so far is about that 2,000 hours. Still lots of life left, but it's half the price. So
Yeah.
I still think that's where it's at.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you're getting most of that money back,
Yeah, that's true.
and you could hopefully it's still worth something after it's got, and then you want to sell it at the right time too,
Yeah.
before it's clapped
Clapped.
right out.
Then before it becomes a logging excavator, right?
Yeah. Well, I seen
That
something the other day, like it's so true. Like a big contractor will buy a new excavator, he'll run it on an earthwork job,
yeah.
get a couple thousand hours on it. Then he sells it to a smaller contractor doing residential and commercial. Then usually a demolition guy buys it when it's like
Yeah.
8,000 hours on it. And then from demolition, that goes as a scrapyard excavator working around the scrapyard. And then that's where it stays. So it's like the evolution.
The evolution of an excavator.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, like the infrastructure sector is where we want to focus on. Like I know the Canadian government likes spending money. Hopefully a little more of it could stay around here.
Yeah.
And we can, because a lot of this stuff has to be updated. Like, yeah, they did just do the big east-west
Yeah.
tie. There was some big, but like a lot of these lines are old and need updating.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I heard rumor that there's a local company going to be doing a road through Ranger for their power line, theirs, and that'd be pretty cool if you get involved in that.
yeah, hopefully, like I didn't hear about that, but there's a few like that going on.
Yeah.
And not to mention even just the maintenance that has to be done, like what we're
Yep.
doing right now up in Wawa area. They're changing glass insulators with a helicopter.
Yeah.
And just to get in, so the helicopter needs fuel. He doesn't want to go back to the airport, so
Yeah.
we're building road into to the power line. So every 5 kilometers they want an area where they can land and fuel up and
That's
have a
cool.
staging area.
Yeah.
So even just the maintenance side of it, like everyone needs power. We just flick the lights on, but you don't really think what goes out.
Yeah, there's a lot
on
more.
the other end.
Well, I mean, our Montreal River,
Which
right?
is
That's
crazy.
an hour and a half away
We don't think of that.
through the Canadian Shield. Like all
Yeah.
that shit's got to be maintained just so us here on Lake Superior can fucking have our lights on.
Just the road into there is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's something I never thought of before all this. And
Yeah, no, it's super cool. And then you started, as you were growing this power line side of your business, you started getting more and more into some bigger residential, light commercial,
yeah,
stuff like that. So was that kind of just hey, I'd like to do a little bit more on the side, keep my guys busy in town as well as with these out of town jobs? Kind of how did that come about?
yeah, well, we have the bigger equipment now. So, like I said, we're getting out of that market with Joe Blow and that 3-ton. So,
The dump trailer warriors.
the dump trailer warriors. So we're getting out of that. And, and I got the opportunity to work for a couple house builders, and that's where it opened up the bigger residential. And they see we have the 20-ton and the dump truck. So
Yeah.
we're able to do that. So that's where that residential comes from. And also, like, when people see that we've done some power line work and stuff like that, that really helps. Because
Yeah.
obviously, if you're working around live lines, well, you're gonna have
Good to
your
have
shit
the right
together on a
experience.
residential site.
Yeah.
So, but things can go wrong there too.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter what, right? Where do you think, so where's the next kind of step for you? I mean, you've got these kind of two facets of your business where you're doing a little bit of light commercial and bigger residential. You've got guys up in the power lines working. Where Where do you see kind of the next opportunity where you kind of want to attack it a little bit more? What do you think the next step is for Pine Valley?
That's my biggest problem right now that I've
Yeah.
been like keeping up at night. Like, I don't want all my eggs in one basket, but I hate taking on residential jobs. And then when the power line calls, like they're a priority, but
Yeah.
I hate burning people. So I do want to take take on the bigger residential stuff that we enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Big retaining walls and some land clearing is kind of the what I'm going to stick to for residential.
Yeah.
And just under as long as the customer understands, like, we're going to, do this as soon as we can, but there might be some interruptions, but
Mhm.
obviously nobody wants their project to go on hold. So
Yeah.
that's kind of, honestly, it's an issue right now.
The
And that's why I'm
balancing
hoping
act.
a second crew.
Yeah. So if you want to talk about that, you're kind of in the midst of hopefully hiring a really respected person for your business that you think is gonna,
And that's where it would
really
totally
bring
change.
more to the table than just them being an employee.
Exactly, yeah. Like, from so far what I've seen, the labor is pretty easy to find. Mind you, I don't want I want some pretty well dressed, respected guys. I don't want to hire someone's drunk uncle. I'll give people a chance, but I want to show up looking good. So, like, I'm a
Yeah.
bit picky when it comes to laborers.
Well,
Even
you kind of
like,
right at the end of the day, your customers
they see that.
associate your employees with you, right? So somebody shows up to the job site that's not in a professional manner.
Yeah, and we've dealt with that this year a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. We'll get into that after. But yeah, I've had basically someone tell me, like, not real impressed with a certain person, and right away I was like, well, we can't have that then.
Yeah.
I can't show up tomorrow even with that guy now,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't want that person at
No.
my house if I didn't feel comfortable.
You
So
got to do something about
from
it.
then on, it was, red flags went off. Okay, well, I got to obviously reassess who I'm having.
Yeah.
So you could be the best operator you want, but you have to have respect.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
So I know, like, sometimes customers are annoying and brutal, but, like, you have to have respect.
So you're talking a little bit about how you were juggling
Yeah.
the two kind of facets and where you wanted to go.
So hiring this new guy, he's well respected. He's a PM elsewhere, and that would be, yeah. So laborers are fairly easy to find, but, like, these people that are, have a head on their shoulders and, went to school for construction management.
Yeah.
Have a good understanding of material and estimating and, stuff, probably even more so than I do myself.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting because we've never, really had.
Another person you could trust
Yeah, like,
to
'cause
keep one asset of your business running while you're making sure the other asset is
exactly, like,
maintaining, right?
well, you can't have two crews when you can't leave a site and,
Yeah.
expect things to keep running smooth. So I guess that's where I was going. So super excited about that. And I kind of want to see what he wants to do in a way, like,
Yeah.
what he's good at. Like, I'll take care of the power line stuff and out of town stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm sure he's gonna have a great handle on this residential, and that's good for cash flow because, residential pays quick for the most part.
Yeah.
And you need, my perfect vision would be doing like 70% power line and infrastructure, and then
Yeah.
still having something on the go back home here.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense. 100%.
So I
100%.
still need that local commitment too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. Give back to the community a little bit too.
yeah.
Do the best you can. And so you bought, is it this year or last year you bought the Doosan?
This year.
This year? Was that was it basements and stuff that kind of encouraged you to buy that shovel? Because I personally, I've always thought those shovels are super cool, but
The zero tail?
yeah,
Yeah. Or with the tilt rotator.
good tilt rotator and everything. Like, that's something you always see videos of.
Well,
But
that's honestly, I will say I'm still a little bit of a irresponsible kid because I seen that twisty bucket. I'm like, I gotta have it. Right? But the word followed though. Could we get away without it? Absolutely.
But
Well, I did need a second shovel. It didn't necessarily need to be that. And, Doosan wasn't my favorite brand. But seeing it was already fitted with a tilt rotator and had zero tail, and it had the rubber pads on that are bolt-on. Like, it's got normal steel tracks, but it has rubber bolt-on pads.
oh, really?
Which I was thinking, okay, if we get into some MTO style work,
Yeah,
we can walk it down the road and not do damage.
yeah, 100%.
But it turns out I've wrecked about 2 parking lots now. The second because it's so grippy, which does make sense, but our little machine has rubber tracks and you can turn.
Yeah,
But that heavy machine on rubber pads, you turn and
it doesn't change a whole lot.
Mind you, like, it was parking lots, the road might be better, but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think that thing's gonna walk down the road and not do damage. So
yeah,
it is wicked though for retaining walls and backfilling. Like, you just get up beside the foundation and
you
dump.
just
Yeah,
spread,
and
right?
when you get a fishing on it, it's kind of like having your wrist not move.
Yeah.
Like how once you get used to that, it's hard to go back.
Yeah,
But it is a little bit on the delicate side too.
yeah, you've broken it a couple times since you had it, eh?
Yeah. We pounded on some concrete. They were tiles for a
Yeah.
pump chamber.
Yeah,
So we got the boys to drill a bunch of holes to weaken it with Hilti,
yeah,
and then Joe was pounding on it. I told him to fold it up so we could put it in the dump truck and get it out of there, but the bolts didn't like that.
no,
No,
that's hilarious.
and I should have known better. Like, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
It's
what
going in
can
the
you do?
shop in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, it's all a learning curve, right? That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's all gonna change. Now, talking shovels and equipment, you're one of the only guys I see around town. Nice.
Yeah, it's a hard month to man.
Fucking tough, eh? So you're one of the only guys I see that runs around with sanding equipment.
Yeah,
And that's not really something like you hear a lot about. Everybody's
No.
got cat
yeah.
or, smaller guys, Kubota, stuff like that. But what drew you to sanding, and like, what do you think, in your opinion, what's your favorite brand that has kind of held up for you the best over time?
So Sani is actually great. Like, Sani's a great
Yeah.
brand. A lot of people are gonna bash it, and I've seen it, and I let them say what they gotta say,
Yeah.
and then it's like, well, I've proved that to be most of what they're saying wrong. That thing starts every day and works. It's
Yeah.
never broke down. I mean, we only have 1,500 hours on it.
So it's still relatively
New, but fairly hard working
Yeah.
conditions,
Yeah.
like, we weren't easy on it by any means. And it's tough. Like, you compare it to, and we're talking a 6-ton here.
Yeah.
So let's say a John Deere 6-ton or a Cat. I mean, it's going to do the exact same thing. Dig a hole,
Yeah.
and it's just as strong because I've ran all of them.
Yeah.
The 6-tons. And I've had people that tried it and were really impressed with the power of it and, the breakout force. And I will say, though, it's not like for creature comforts. It's not as comfortable as a Cat to
Yeah.
sit in all day.
Yeah.
Those
So
smaller ones,
creature comforts, you mean yourself or an operator being the creature, right?
we're creatures.
Just in case there's people listening that don't know what that term means.
Yeah, a bit of a weird term, I
Yeah.
guess.
I get it, but
Yeah.
that's
No, so it's not, Cat hasn't figured out their cab is big and,
yeah.
the Sani's a little bit more clunky, we'll say.
Yeah.
It's no Cadillac, but it's going to get the job done.
It's like
the
an old
exact same.
fucking Honda 4-wheeler with the straight axle.
It's going to get you there.
It's
and
gonna
it
get you
works,
there and it works.
but it won't be the most comfortable.
Yeah.
But honestly, for 30 to 40% less, why, in my opinion,
Why spend more when you're
especially on
right?
these smaller machines, like when you get into a big, say, 15, 20, 30-ton machine, you're sitting in those all day.
Yeah.
You're putting a shift in and you're not getting out of it. The smaller ones are more landscaping. You're in and out, right?
Yeah.
The operator's in and out, so it's not quite as important. But yeah, I think their service and stuff is great.
Yeah.
And their parts so far.
And hey, that's all that matters, right?
And you're going to get to through Cat guys who, which China junk and here's the thing: a lot of the cat stuff is coming out of China too,
Yeah.
and Sandy's building a bunch of stuff for cat now,
Yeah.
like their undercarriage for 30-ton plus. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure they're building a lot of stuff
Yeah.
for cat.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to watch what you hear. Like I would say, like final review would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And then for your bigger equipment, no, you have the Doosan, obviously, which is one of the only brands that makes the articulating bucket. But
No,
yeah,
so that articulated bucket is an aftermarket.
oh, it
Oh
is.
yeah, that's an aftermarket. But
I thought the Doosan was like part of the machine.
no,
Like,
that's a
that's
tilt
just so much
rotator.
everything.
It's
Germans.
oh, it's German, so it's
well
good.
built,
It
yeah.
is well built. And like over in Europe, they've been using tilt rotators for like 20 years. Honestly, 80% of their machines over there have tilt rotators.
Really?
Yeah, and over here, like I think I'm the only one around here with a tilt rotator, at least in the Sioux, you know.
Well, it makes sense over there. The faster they get the job done, the faster they
And-
can go to the pub, right? So
Well, and honestly, they don't have the labor over there that we have. They've
Yeah.
always like they've been dealing with the labor crisis for quite a bit longer, so they're a lot more efficient. Everyone that like has seen people
Yeah.
Europeans work, at least in construction, they're a lot more efficient.
yeah,
So Doosan, yeah, it's good. It's I don't like how it's electric over hydraulic. You don't have the feel as much. Overall pretty good, I would say.
Yeah.
Like they've been around for a long time.
yeah,
They're always
Yeah.
rebranding, but
yeah.
Link Belt.
That was. I remember when you got the Link
I
Belt.
love that thing.
I had never really heard of Link Belt a whole lot.
They're
until you bought one.
Japanese.
And then my uncle, when I told him you bought a Link Belt, he was like, "Oh, those are the best shovels in the world to run."
Dude, they make you feel like a hero.
Really?
Yeah, like you could probably pull grade with it, like
Really?
pretty close, yeah. So they're smooth. Like you could
Huh.
feel everything, and they're just really responsive.
That's awesome.
And they have a Zuzu engine. They sip fuel. Like
Really?
yeah, like liters. I don't know, but I know like it's like $200 a day on like a 10-hour day.
Holy shit!
Because I know I put $500 in my slip tank, and that'll last you 2 12-hour days.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah. So
That's pretty sick.
sips fuel, and it's put in. We put 3,000 hours on that,
Wow.
and it's been good. But I know like 6,000 hours now, like it's not unheard of to have a pump go at that.
Yeah.
So
So you're kind of getting ready. Like
Yeah, some big money.
it might be a big bill coming in the near future, but that's going to happen with any machine,
yeah.
right? You get 6,000 hours on anything, and hey, like shit might start going wrong, and we're gonna have to start doing some upgrades here. But
That's the inevitable.
yeah.
Yeah, we did an undercarriage on it, which was pretty fun.
yeah.
Yeah, me and my dad out in the snowstorm.
Every time, hey, you don't like to work on shit in the summer.
No. Well, that's again, the power line thing came and said, yep, we'll be ready. So
So you went there.
when used a lot of oxygen and acetylene because we had to change the pads we didn't replace, but we replaced the chain and all the rollers and sprockets. So
Yeah.
every pad, I want to say there's over 100 pads
Really?
on it. Yeah. I know there's a lot. Like
Wow.
we went through like 4 things of oxygen and acetylene, burning the heads of the bolts off.
Holy.
It was like $1,000 just in gas for that. I was like, geez, this really adds up.
Yeah. Hopefully the job pays off, eh?
Yeah. So it turned out to be good though. I mean, I had an operator in that machine. I didn't really, other than I did the paperwork at the end of the day, like didn't hear from him other
Really?
than his hours and what they did, and no breakdowns at all
That's
for a whole
awesome.
year straight.
Yeah. And that's working in minus 30 some days.
Yeah, well, it was around
I
here. It
guess
wasn't
didn't
quite
get
that bad.
super cold last year.
No,
So it wasn't too
It wasn't too
but
bad.
It wasn't like your first year on the power lines
No.
when you were had to go there with a diesel heater and get the equipment running.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
that.
Put a tarp over it,
Yeah.
but all in all, yeah, pretty impressed with Link Belt. And they're Japanese, and they're actually case
Oh,
equipment.
really?
They're the same machine.
Oh, okay.
Believe it or not.
Oh,
So I've never ran a case, but I'm assuming it's the same.
Yeah.
They come out of the same factory.
okay.
Yeah. Apparently they just split off and
Slap a
one
different
goes for
sticker on
yeah.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's standard. That's almost with everything, right?
Yeah.
Fuck. What can you do? You want another drink?
Yeah.
I need to grab another drink
Yeah.
or not. Hey, hit a little Corona and non-alcoholic beer review here.
May as well. It's all in my head, but I feel like I'm getting a buzz.
2 non-alcoholic beers and
Hello? Perfect.
all right, so we're back and it's dry January, saddest month of the year, darkest month of the year, and we are giving you a review on the Corona 00. It's one of my favorite NAs, and surprisingly, a lot of vitamin D in these. So for the dark months and when you're not getting a buzz at night, the vitamin D sure does help. And even though it's not a real beer, it still tastes pretty well like a real beer. And I'm gonna hit it with a 5.2 only because it's not giving me a buzz. It's just for the enjoyment of having a beer with a buddy and not being able to have a real one. But anyway, we'll get back into it. And I'd say we'll wrap it up after this one, but I want to hear the story going back to, you said you had to kick a guy off site and shit like that, and you ran into a few employee issues. So what's kind of been the biggest employee issue you've had so far since you've opened?
I'll tell you about after.
Tell me right now and I'll edit it out. What are a couple that you can talk about?
Well, there was one where, and this was like a few years ago. I just had, it was one of the first hires I ever had, and he was loading the dump truck. I was trucking, so in between me being gone, I was hoping he'd get some stuff because we were digging down and we'd find clay, but I wanted the pit run on top of that.
Yep,
the good stuff. So I was like, while I'm gone, just scrape up some good stuff and leave the clay. And when I got back after the second load, I think he was just like, something was up with him. Like he was not, and I don't think it was drinking because I don't think you get drunk that fast.
he wasn't sober.
Let's just say he wasn't sober. I don't know what he was doing, but it was very illegal things.
Yeah.
So again, that was the end of that. So that lasted half a day there. And that was actually up in the pit. So, I mean, it wasn't on anyone's property there in front of the customer, but it was a good test.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you gotta nip that in the butt right away, right?
And so, yeah, nothing too crazy, I guess. Pretty typical in the construction industry.
Yeah.
But, moving forward, I don't want to entertain the idea. If I get the wrong vibe from anyone, like,
yeah.
And we've got lots of compliments on like, oh, you have an awesome, like, because construction can attract a lot of,
a couple
especially with
you had some rough guys, right?
Excavation and, groundwork. Like, generally that's the bottom of the barrel because, anyone in theory can push dirt around.
Yeah.
That's not the case, but so, moving forward, I just want to have and we got compliments like, wow, you have a really well-dressed, well-spoken crew.
Yeah. And I mean, it speaks a lot for itself, man. I've seen your guys. I've met a lot of them. I've been on a few sites with you before. Everybody I've met that you hired so far, they've all been super awesome. Good guys. You guys do good work.
Thank you. Yeah.
I've worked with some other companies, and I remember we were on an odorant station for a gas company back when I was on the tools, and we were essentially rewiring all the controls for the station, and this company had a skid steer on the property and it's a rougher company. I'll tell you who it was after, but we're doing all this groundwork. Me and two other guys are in a trench laying control wire, and all of a sudden we hear yelling. We look up, and the skid steer, we got 12 to 16-inch gas lines running around this entire compound, and this skid steer fucking took off with no operator in it.
No.
Fucking stuff.
Wheels or
tracks just took off. There was no stopping it. And luckily, the pile of dirt we had, so it stopped itself enough for somebody to get in and shut it down. But the throttle just stuck wide open. It was just your typical, there's
Bob's back.
like Yeah, it was a bobcat actually. That's what it was. But like, it just those are the kind of people you see, especially excavation,
It's
and
really,
like property development companies.
and that's kind of what we want to change is like, it's okay to work construction because actually you can have pride in what you do
Yeah.
and look good and feel good, drive nice trucks. And, you don't have to have clapped out junk
Yeah.
and get paid shit. you
Yeah.
know. I've always been big for why can't the company make a bit less and hook the boys up.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think that's a good way to be, a good way to keep employees and keep things running. And yeah, that was pretty well most of what I wanted to talk to you about today.
Nice.
I mean, there's a million things I probably forgot, but we can
Yeah,
have
same.
you on again. But was there anything you wanted to come on and say?
No, not really.
No.
You don't have to be an expert, to get into to start a business. Like,
Yeah.
you just have to, well, and that's actually one thing I did want to say is connections. Like, it doesn't happen overnight, but after a couple of years, you make some pretty great connections. And like, that's what's gonna eventually,
Yeah.
you'll just get a call and out of the blue. It's always
Mhm.
when you least expect it because of a connection you built because you weren't a cocky little asshole.
Yeah.
And, just, you can call these old guys up and ask some genuine questions. And if you come across genuine, not like you're trying to steal work, they got to be pretty cold hearted not to help you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah, you don't have to, be an expert, but build connections and yeah, just don't be a know-it-all.
Yeah.
Because like, when I hear somebody saying, yo, I know, I've done this, I've done that, get out of here. Like, you know,
Yeah.
so that's kind of, I think, the only reason, because it's definitely not because I'm smart or because I'm all that much of a hard worker. It's honestly connections I've built just from
Yeah.
being fairly genuine,
Yeah. Never
and
stop networking, right?
yeah. And without even actually thinking I am, just being genuine
Yeah,
and asking questions. So
Just liking to go out, shoot the shit with people, have a couple beers or non-alcoholic beers, and
yeah, in this
and
case,
get chatting with people that have the same interests as you, right? That's huge,
yeah,
and I think it goes a long way, especially in this industry where we're just people.
absolutely, yeah.
That's anyway. Thanks for coming, buddy, and
Yeah,
let's
thanks
wrap
for
it up.
having me.
Cheers.
Soundstripe.